it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today. Please put in the chat where you're from and who you are. When we start reviewing the news articles, if you want to look at our Facebook page, just click here and you can follow the articles along as we go. See you in a moment. Tech for Senior Live. Can you hear me? Is everyone out there? It's a great Thursday morning here in Comox, British Columbia, on Vancouver Island, off the west coast of Canada. As we all tune in across Canada, United States, and even some people in Europe and in Central South America. So we have all sorts of people going to be listening to the show today. I'm going to introduce everyone in just a minute, but maybe if you're new, you're wondering, who the heck are we? Well, we are a bunch of seniors, and we like to get together and have a coffee and chat about the weekly news. And that is exactly what we are going to do today. If you want to, no, they'll do this one here. This is if you want to follow along with the articles today that we're going to be showing you. You can actually look at them on our Facebook page. We've been busy posting articles all week about our about technology, not health related, but technology. Yes, this is a tech show, because really we all come from our Monday show, which is called Tech for Senior, and we're in our third season now. What do we got? 118, Huey? Is it up to 100?
I believe that's what it is. Yep.
Problem is, when you get old, it's hard to remember how to count that high now, right?
Anyway, yeah, it's past my fingers and toes.
Yeah, it's past fingers and toes sort of thing, where there's sort of 118 shows we've done. So if you want to, now I just want to let everyone know, so if you do want to come and visit us on Monday and to the show, you can certainly do that. Now it is a Zoom meeting on Monday, so we broadcast it out over Zoom, and we broadcast it to we went to Facebook. Over to YouTube, and we broadcasted to you, so you can either see it as a Zoom meeting or onto YouTube. And details of that are on our webpage, which is www.techforsenior.com. And so all the information is there if you want to join us for the Monday show. We have a lot of fun. Ray Baxter's camping. Ray Baxter is usually with us. He's our musical director, great guy. He's actually today in his motorhome in the Grand Canyon camping, right, guys? He'll be back on Monday, and then of course for the next Thursday show. So if he is listening, Ray, hopefully you're you're not getting too smoky with the campfires, and you're having a great time and enjoying. Does he have his family with him? Has he got the grandkids or anything? I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, if you're having fun, enjoy your time.
I think it was he and his wife and another couple.
Eh? Okay, great. And so anyway, that's our Monday show. And today, of course, we're going to be talking about the news. That's our Thursday show. We tape this, and of course, this is not a Zoom meeting. We broadcast this out on StreamYard to Facebook and YouTube. So if you're over in our Zoom feed, if you're over on the Zoom meeting and you're waiting for the show to start, we'll see you Monday because nobody's there, right? So you might want to come over here and watch on our StreamYard. And again, you can find the links to that. I have a big red button on our website, and you can, of course, just click that, and we will get and you can come over and watch the show. Now, the other thing is, and we podcast this, of course, and it'll be up on our podcast, which by tomorrow. if you are out there and we have no idea who's listening. So if you're out there and you're listening to us, and we'd like to know, maybe can you put your first name in, where you're from, and what the weather is. Give us a little hello. We're here to also answer questions. If you have any questions, we certainly, to the best of our ability, will answer the questions about any technology issues that you want to talk about. We'll be looking at that in just a minute. But I really want to take some time to introduce the other two individuals involved with the show today, which, of course, most of you know very, 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 very well. Of course, there's my partner in crime on our Monday show, Huey Popluck. Huey's from Bradenton, Florida. We're not sitting in an actual broadcast booth here. We're actually across the country. We're even in different countries. And of course, Huey's from Bradenton, Florida. Nice weather.
I am.
Yeah. And you were telling me all about the great deals you're getting on prices and watermelons and seafood and crabs you're going to have for dinner. Oh my gosh, crazy.
Yep. One of the local chains here, they have about 8 stores. They've got ground beef, 80% for $2.99 a pound. And I did it a few weeks ago. I was 40th in line when you pick the numbers. And there were another 40 behind me within minutes. But they had huge mounds and lots of help. And it didn't take long. And I got my then 3 pounds. I'm going to get probably 5 pounds today and make up some baked meatballs and freeze them and have them when I want them.
And Huey and I also do a show. Not only do we do the Monday show, well, Bob is with us as well, and we do Learning Chromebooks, which is a monthly production. And we just did one. Was it last week or the week before? It was last week, wasn't it?
The week before.
And it's hard, it goes by so fast. And we do
this time again.
Yeah, we do it as a monthly show. And one of the things we've done is we've changed a little bit, and we're actually going to be talking about Chromebook news as well as Chromebook support for your machines and learning. We'll teaching you some tricks as well with your Chromebook. And this is our new Facebook page that we've just added, and it is our page where you can go, and we'll be posting Chromebook news items on there. So if you want to pop over and have a look at that, follow that along, any new articles about Chromebook.
Yeah, I posted a bunch this morning.
Yeah, I did too. So there's some good stuff there. So I think that's going to be very popular. And so this is a new feature, so you can certainly look at that. And we'll be doing again in July. And again, you can register if you just go to www.techforsenior.com. You can go there and register, and we'll be happy to see you at the end of July for that. And of course, I haven't introduced Bob Gustisha. Bob, of course, is from Los Lunas, New Mexico. He is our security expert. He does his weekly security news roundup on our show. But Bob is like, I always talk, Bob is like the ever ready Easter bunny. He keeps going and going and going, and he's always making all these great videos through the week. So Bob's not just a security guy, but he knows a lot about all Windows 11. He goes on and on and on about all these videos, and he's a great guy. And so we're really happy that he's here because he keeps us straight. And we welcome your presence, Bob.
Thank you.
Right.
Nice to be here.
Yeah. Did you have a good week?
Yeah. Excellent week.
Mm-hmm.
Busy week.
Busy weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. People have to stop giving me ideas about making videos.
I know
that in my head, and I have to get busy and do it just the way I'm built.
Yeah. And I guess it's a habit. After 3 years now, I'm always saying, oh, that'd make a good video, or that's a good one. Are you guys think about the same thing? It's I was thinking, yeah, well, that'd make an easy video. So,
and then I go to make the video, and oh gee, I got to get this and I got to get that, and all of a sudden it's a project.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be careful.
Bob's got it down to a science.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because otherwise you go down that rabbit hole and you think, oh, this wasn't such a good project. So anyway, listen, I wanted to talk, before we get into the articles, I wanted to talk about something and get your opinion on let's, before we do that, is anyone out there listening? Do we have any comments?
Mike was so excited to be here. He posted this. He
Hi.
thought it was Thursday and signed in early. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Don't change the slide. I want to. So Mike Ingerman's a good friend of ours, and he's been he does a lot of contributions to the Monday show, and he, of course he's doing one now for us. He did on solar panels and solar energy for your house. Very popular, a lot of interest in it. And he's I think it's going to end up being about a 4-part series. He's done 2. We played the last one last week. And so it's so Mike's a great guy, really interesting. If you are interested in solar energy or getting solar panels on your house and looking at some of the issues, you may want to look at some of our past episodes. The last 2 episodes were part 1 and part 2, and Mike has done a very good job with that, and we look forward to part 3 and part 4. So well done, Mike, and I'm glad you're here early.
And then he put this up. Now it's the correct day and another excellent solar producing morning as well.
Yeah, it's sunny here as well. Yeah, for sure. Dick Vogel, good morning. Oops, afternoon from Sanford, Florida. Yeah. And Maureen's from Victoria. Maureen and also Joan from Victoria, just south here. Boy, you did not. So hold on before you pass along. I got to talk a little bit, Joan, and the in Saanich, there was a bank robbery this week. I mean, Victoria is sort of a laid back, sort of cozy little city that everybody thinks about as just being, it's so picturesque. But there actually was a huge bank robbery there with police and guns, and it was a big deal. So it was lots of news, made the national news, everything. So anyway, lots happening down in Victoria.
I've gone through a couple of bank robberies. I was an officer in a bank, and I've had a gun to my head.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh, you're
it's very exciting. Very
exciting.
Yeah,
this was big time exciting. Yeah. Sally,
my boss asked me, "Are you sure that gun was loaded?" I said, "Look, at least I know where they went. I got you the license plate from the car that they drove." I said, "If it had been you, you'd have been underneath the desk, probably peeing in your pants."
Sally says Kirkland much cooler now. I think it's going to warm up, though. You're right, Sally. It did cool down a bit, but I think it's going to warm up. Stu, good noontime from Dunedin, Florida. Yep. Hi, Stu. Welcome again. Dick Vogel should say Sanford, Florida. Steve Powell, Kirkland, 59 degrees. Yep, a little cooler. Olive Cousin, hi from Willamette Valley of Oregon. It is overcast, 58 degrees to 79 degrees. Yeah, but you guys are going to get some nice warm weather. Irving, good afternoon from Ottawa. Yes, great. Ready for Canada Day. It's a sunny day. Yeah, indeed. The long weekend this weekend. Richard Clarkson from Morovia, California, not Canada. Currently 72 degrees. A little cool for California, I would think. Gerald Smith says West Seattle, 59 degrees. Bob Baxter, Bellevue, Washington, 60, heading for mid-70s. Chris Rosinski. Oh, Chris, that's great. I'm glad Chris is great from Eastburn, New York, sunny, 69 degrees. Hold it. Don't change this. Don't change it. So, Chris, I got to tell you about Chris. Chris and I are good friends. Chris and I taught Chromebooks in Mesa, Arizona, and Chris and Edith have since left Arizona and they've moved, but they own a lot which they've had for many years on the water up in New York, and they have a big motorhome and they go camping up there, and they're musicians. They do a lot of work with music, and they're as Huey knows them, and they're ardent Chromebook users as well. So Chris and I are always talking and sending emails back and forth. So welcome, Chris, and I hope you're having a great day, and say hello to Edith for me.
That's it.
Okay, that's great. So before we get started, so I introduced everybody. We talked about it. Good. Have I forgotten either of you too?
No.
All right. I wanted to talk to you about something today, and here I wanted your opinion. Now, I did post this as an article, but I'm going to bring this article up. And this was an article about Apple Watch saves man life after he was stranded out in the sea. This was in Australia. So he floated out to sea, got in some tides and got out there. And of course, he's in this big ocean, and the Apple Watch purportedly saved his life. I'm not sure if he used the SOS feature of it, or he was actually able to make a call from the Apple Watch. The details aren't known. But so the details aren't known. But so my question, I want to talk about tracking and personal information and tracking and what you think. Now, a lot of people, when they buy something or whatever, and we had this discussion last Monday, if you remember on the show, people often turn off the location device. They turn off the first thing they do is they don't want to be tracked, right? They say, I don't want anybody to know where I am, and they turn off the location device tracking. All right. Yep. Now, so I'm gonna say, now, is that a good thing or not? Because in this case, this guy's wearing his watch. He's out to sea. He's going to drown, and of course, people were able to find him. So, what do you think, Bob?
From a security and privacy standpoint, it's a very good idea. However, if you want to be part of the world and you want people to send you ads that are localized to you, directions that are localized to you, suggestions that are localized to you, don't turn it off. Besides, you're already have all your stuff all over the internet anyway. A little late to worry about protecting your location 10 years into that subject, which way back when nobody worried about. Now all of a sudden you have some people that are worrying about it. But
right.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to have it turned on, so if you are lost, somebody can find you. Right. But my question is, if you're out to sea, how are they tracking you? Yeah, the GPS is on, but generally they don't. Do they track you through GPS, or do they?
You can find your watch. There's a track.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find your watch. Well, so that's interesting. I don't know. I mean, it does bring up some questions.
Can't call anybody. I don't think there's any towers out in the ocean.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that he was that far out that he was outside of cellular service, and I don't know if it had I don't know if it had a SIM chip in it. Those details are not known on this article. Okay, this just came out this morning, and I thought, well, this is sort of interesting because we did have that discussion on the Monday show, because we were talking about logging into your bank and logging into different services that you have, and a lot of times, based on the device you're logging in with, if you've logged in there before, or your location is always in your house, it's in the same location, then the bank says, hey, I know who you are, in you go, right? But if all of a sudden you move your computer to Mesa, Arizona from wherever you are, and you're going on holidays, and all of a sudden you log in, they're going to say, whoa, hold on here. This isn't you, right? And so if you don't have location tracking turned on, then they have no idea where you are. And so you're likely going to get into more trouble every time you want to log in, right? It's going to be more difficult, right? That would be my thoughts on that, eh?
It becomes more difficult because they'll want you to identify yourself.
Right.
And it's being done to protect you. Because remember, if somebody gets a hold of your credit card information, they're not going to be where you are. So you want somebody to say, hey, wait a minute, how come you're signing in from? It's not home.
That's right.
The best thing to do, even on a credit card, is to file a vacation or a travel information with your credit card and your bank. And then they know you're someplace else. So when you use your card, they won't all of a sudden send you notices. It's been declined. Very embarrassing.
It is. Particularly when people don't carry cash anymore, right?
That's right.
So that becomes more of a problem, right? So yeah, that's interesting. Now, it's also really interesting. I don't know. Do you get those reports from Google Maps? I think it's Google Maps that send it to you that shows your activity for the week. For the month. I used to send. So I think it's a hoot. It shows exactly where I've been for the month, right down to the store I was going.
Right to the store. Yeah, that's scary.
They know exactly where you've been, and I like that. So I used to send it to my daughter. My daughter, who, of course, when COVID, when I'm supposed to be locked in my house and not going out, I would always send her the report each month and say, "See, I'm behaving myself, right? Okay, Dad, I see that. You're fine. Don't you go out." And I said, "No, I'll send you the report next month." And so,
It's nice. It's nice now. I get reports every month to tell me where I haven't been.
Yeah. So that's sort of interesting. So I guess I'm probably the same page as everybody here. I leave it all on. I like everyone to know where I am. I don't try and, but there are people that are worried about that and they turn it off. And I just think it's important that we talk about that, is because if you do turn it off, there may be some unwanted consequences, right? And I think you have to think about that. Now, the other thing that you probably remember that great video I made last week, on the Garmin tracker for children, right? Now, why I was talking about this today is, of course, my daughter, who lives in Beijing, China, with her husband, and they're educators, and of course, tracking is a big deal in China. Like they have apps, and they have to have these apps on their phone, and they track everything you do, but not for the reasons that we get tracked. There are many other reasons that you get tracked in China. So on the Garmin Vivo Junior, which is a tracker for children, there is no GPS locator in it. And when they went to choose that device, that was one of the specific requirements that they had, is they did not want any tracking on their 5-year-old child, on my grandson, right? And so that was a specific word. So it depends what part of the world you're in on why you may or may not want someone tracked, right? And we're going to talk about that later today in the show. There's some interesting stuff about TikTok. I don't know if you saw those articles on TikTok. We should talk about that. But now this is getting really sneaky, because, of course, so what we've just said, in China, in Beijing, and in buying an activity tracker for a child, most people would say, "Oh, that's great. I can find my kid when he runs off and I don't know where it is. This is a great thing." But specifically, they bought that Garmin device, the activity device for children, because
how do you have a tracker when it can't track?
No, it's tracking your activity. It's an
activity tracker only.
Yeah, okay. It's an activity only tracker, okay. And it works through the parent's phone. It's for a preteens. It's a younger child. So, but there's no, and that was a specific requirement that they had. I thought that was interesting. So there are,
in light of the fact that you now have teens who are involved in malware, making extra money, it's a pretty good idea to know what your kids or grandkids are doing when they're on the internet.
It is, and that's the nice thing about this. It runs through the parent's phone, and we're talking about really young children. This is made for 5-year-olds and stuff like that. So
I can think of some reasons some adults would not want tracking, if they're married and are cheaters.
Yeah,
if they're working and they like to stop for some liquid lunch, they don't want their bosses to know where they are.
Yes, indeed. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if your wife saw your activity tracking and you were off doing something you shouldn't be doing, and she'd know exactly where where you went, right?
Yeah. Well, why were you at this this particular bar that has females dancing?
Right, exactly. That's right.
When you're supposed to be working, or when you were working late that night.
That's right. So it's but anyway, so there are lots of different ways of looking at this, and I thought it was worth discussing and talking a little bit about, because you're right, Huey. There's both sides of the fence, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. Listen, before we get into the news articles, any comments?
Yep.
Yeah, there's a couple of things out here. Yep. Let's see. Maureen Glenn was right across the street from the bank robbery on Tuesday.
Oh, was she? Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. This was a shoot 'em up. People killed. Even the police were fatally injured. There were 6 police injured. Wow. One was in critical. 2 bank robbers killed. This is a big deal. This is not usually happening in Victoria. This is Crazy. Maureen says, questions for Bob. In the recent newsletter, you talked about cookies. I was wondering how you identify third-party cookies and if you can remove them. Thank you.
The answer is yes, you can remove them. It's one of your settings. When you check under cookies, there is a specific thing for uncheck third-party cookies. And third-party cookies are the ones that go to friends of the site you visit, the advertisers. First-party cookies are strictly to make your visit to a website easier. Third-party cookies are to make sure you get lots of ads. So that's the part you want to uncheck.
Although I don't use their product, I do read the McAfee blog, and they have some pretty interesting articles. And they had a really good article on cookies and all what they are, how they work, and so on. And it was a very lengthy article. Otherwise, I would have included probably in one of my articles. And I may still just take some parts of it and stick it in the in my article for Saturday.
Now they also have things now they also have some things called super cookies, and that's something that unfortunately big companies like Google are introducing. That'll make them richer when it comes to advertising, and something we right now don't have any control over.
Right. So, Bob, with the new changes in the cookie law, I guess we'll call it whatever, we all are faced with now when we go to a new website, it says, can we use cookies? You get your choices saying yay or nay. Is that third-party cookies, or is that just the...
Every one of those things has a place for you to check the details.
Right.
They have you accept or details. You want to go to the details, and in the details is where you want to uncheck the advertisers or third parties. Share my information with our friends or our advertisers. That's the part. So you have to go in and you have to actually make an attempt to not simply say, oh, just accept them. No, you have to go and look at the details and then make your selection.
Okay, good. Just before we get to Olive's question, I just want to go back to one of the things we talked about in the pre-show. We'll get to Olive. So Hugh, you'll bring that back.
I'll bring it back. Yeah.
Okay. One of the things I want to, if you own a Pixel phone, I was telling Bob this earlier this morning. I was reading this article this morning about crash detection on the Pixel phone, and it may be coming to other Android phones. And I thought, what do you mean? And they said, yeah, since Pixel 4, there's automatic crash detection.
But that's car crash.
Car crash, and on the Pixel phone. And I thought, what? And I said, it's in the personal information. And so when we started in the warm-up show today, when we were talking with Bob, I said, Bob's got a Pixel as well. And I said, do you know anything about it? No, I don't know anything about it. I didn't either. And sure enough, you go into settings, go down to personal information, open that up, and there's a whole app there, on car crash detection, which, of course, if you turned off location finding, this isn't going to work. So just if you do have a Pixel phone, I'm going to set mine up today, and I'll maybe even do a little video on it. I haven't figured that out. But anyway, it's something you might want to consider if you own a Pixel phone. But this likely will be coming to all the Android phones as well. Let's go back to Olive. Would the new Google Fi phone connected satellite allow messaging in the Australian guy way out to sea? Sure, but he didn't have his phone. He only had his watch, right? So, but if you did, have your phone, I'm still, although these phones are all waterproof, gee, I'd be a little nervous about taking my $1,500 iPhone or your Huey's S22 Pro or whatever it is, $2,000 cell phone out in the salty sea. I don't know. What about you, Huey? What do you think? It's your fault. Olive says, I miss Karen's oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Oh, the memories. Can NASCAR drivers turn off crash detection? Well, I hope so.
They'd rather turn off crashes.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, exactly.
If they're looking at their watch, they're going to have a crash.
They are. That's right. All right, share video. Let's see. Share detection here.
Yeah, let's look at some news.
We got to do some work here. People aren't going to be happy with it. Now, let me see if I get this little bar a little bit bigger. I think that's about as good as I can get. So just to let everybody know, if you want, that's the link. I'm not going to leave it up because we always get complaints that the bar is right over the whole thing. So, but that's the link at facebook.com at Tech for Senior. If you go there now, these are the articles that we'll be going over. Okay, let's have a look. We did the first article. Oh, now this just came out a few minutes ago. And this is a great article. Apple CarPlay could completely change how you buy gas. This is a new feature that they're planning on releasing on the next release of iOS. And this will be in your car as you're driving along. You'll be able to, the app will give you a list of the gas stations and prices. You then can prepay your gas. In other words, you just hit the button and say, that's it. I'll fill up at this station, prepay. So it's paid on your credit card, everything. You just roll up, fill up, and off you go. And this is the new feature. So there could be savings because you would know what the best gas of the area would be. Of course, the app will take you right to the gas station, and you don't have to stand around putting your credit card in or anything. You just go and I guess there's a code you put in or something, and it would just automatically allow you to fill up. So I thought that's coming in Apple CarPlay. Interesting, eh?
I have one of the features in the car that I have, the van, is Apple CarPlay.
Oh yeah,
I don't own an Apple.
You don't
phone.
Yeah.
I have a Pixel, so
yeah. Do you guys? Does anyone use one? I don't use 1Password, but this came out. 1Password will help you remember which sign-in with which service you used, and that is so cool because one of the problems I have using LastPass is I go along and I want to log into a site, and I often have 3 or 4 different times I've logged in with different ways, and they're all wrong, and LastPass just sort of held all those, and I hit the wrong one, and it doesn't work. But this is sort of will remember which sign-in service you used last. So this is sort of cool. Do you have any thoughts on it?
No.
I don't have 15 places or sign-ins.
Okay.
I have one because if I change it, I also change it in the password manager.
Okay. All right. And then this is another interesting one that was in Gmail. Users can now check how much storage they have on their mobile devices. And I was looking at this yesterday. Actually, I don't usually do Gmail on my mobile device, but I was playing around with that yesterday, and you now can see how much storage you have and look at. And if you have multiple accounts, it's easy to see on each account how much storage space you have, which is sort of interesting. So if you do use Gmail and you are on your mobile device,
are they talking about storage or stuff you've saved to the device?
No, storage, hard drive storage.
So it's that stuff up on the cloud.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Now, this was interesting, and I wanted to bring this up. Apple promises white glove experiences for its most helpful community members. And the reason I don't particularly want to talk about this article, but Michael Daniels, of course, is a friend of Huey's and mine. I think, Bob, you know Michael. He's been on our show a number of times. Yes. Michael's a product expert, as Chris Gould is. Chris will be doing her. Chris is also a friend of ours, and she does Geeks on Tour. They're both product experts. Chris is a product expert in, of course, Google Photos. Michael's a product expert in, I think, five different products of Google, and they're gold. I think there's different tiers. You start by answering questions in their community forums and you work your way up. And Michael's platinum or gold or whatever the highest level is in 5 of these products. So they, as part of the perk for that, and it takes many years to do that, as part of the perk, they flew them all to New York this last weekend, and they had a 3-day Google seminar in New York for the product experts. And that's really how Apple and Google expect their product support, they don't actually have, well, I guess maybe they do, but you don't generally don't deal with people at Google or at Apple giving you personal support. You usually go through their community forums, and the support is usually very good because you're dealing with these very expert people. And I guess the Apple is now is going to make the is going to are doing the, so you may want to do some community work with Apple or even with Google. I'm going to try and get Michael on. Michael's very busy. I'm going to try and get him on the show on Monday, and I'd like him to talk about his experience as being a product specialist and the trip to New York. And because a lot of people, particularly seniors, if they've got a lot of time, they have a lot of experience. It's a nice way that you can give back and have sort of fun with it. So it is something that you might want to think about. Do you guys?
It's something I've done for Avast since 2004.
Right. How much time do you spend, Bob, on it? Do you do it every day?
Yes, every single day, and quite a bit of time in between making videos.
Yeah, so it is something to think about. I mean, if you do have a lot of experience and you want to, and you might feel a bit intimidated to start with, but I think you probably would be.
Now, on the Avast forum, if one of those of us that are regulars there helping customers don't have an answer, some of us have enough clout that we can actually get someone from Avast involved, and they will then handle it. So that's one of the advantages. Right. If we see a person really has a problem, even if they're using the free version, we will get and always do get Avast involved and actually solve the problem right on the forum. And the forum is something anybody can go and look. Mm-hmm. So if you have a problem, do a little search. It's probably already been answered.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. And I think that so that's something that maybe we should also, one of the things we should do on the Monday show is maybe do a little talk on how to get to the Google forum and what it all involves. That'd be a good idea. It's a great resource for people, right? I mean, they can go there and get some help.
Yeah, just reading other people's questions and answers is the first step to doing something like that.
Right.
To get an idea of how it's done and the kind of answers that people give.
Yeah. And they, because you're not the first person that's ever had that problem, right?
Nope.
Yep.
That's right. Okay. Let's see. Huey, this is yours, I guess.
Yeah, the 20 best video editing apps for 2022. Of course, the title doesn't really tell you a whole bunch. And so I looked at it and I said, well, gee, Camtasia is not there. And that's one of the premier type video editing program. And then I realized they're talking about free and inexpensive video editing programs, not the best of the best.
And I don't know if Screencast-O-Matic is there, but that is certainly an alternative, and you don't have to buy it at all.
Yeah. So there's the article isn't the best I've seen, but it is one that if you're looking for video editing, you don't want to spend a lot of money on it, there's some ideas for you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Huey. Right now, I put this up there just to remind you. We talked a little bit about this before the show. Facebook sort of.
What is the article?
Oh, the article is Facebook is copying Discord and Slack for its groups feature, and we're all in for it. Not that I want to talk about that specific article, but as I mentioned earlier in the pre-show that we had, Facebook is changing its way. Like Google has had such a great success with YouTube. More people watch YouTube than television in the United States. And I'm not talking about YouTube TV. I'm talking about YouTube. Phenomenal success. And people, of course, creators are creating all this content and putting it on YouTube and so on and so forth. So Facebook is changing in the last 6 months. They for those of you who are creators, or maybe you're creating stuff, Facebook is getting into the same idea where you post your content onto Facebook. It's free and you can monetize it, create ads, and there would be an ad revenue stream and so on. So same sort of idea YouTube is doing. So a lot of changes happening on Facebook. Just for a heads up on that.
Do either of you use Discord or Slack and know
I
what it
do.
is?
I do. I'm on a Slack channel with Avast, and it's more an one-on-one or within a specific group. It is not like Facebook where it's anybody and everybody. And this is within a specific group. So if you have a specific interest, maybe you're car collectors, you could have a Slack channel, and those people would be on that particular channel. Same goes for Discord. Hopefully they're not copying Discord, because Discord was just hacked.
Yeah, I did, Huey. I did. I became a patron with Chrome Unboxed and Robbie Payne and those guys, and I watch all their videos because, of course, I need to for the for our Learning Chromebook series. And they have a Discord. If you are a supporter, then they have a Discord channel where you actually can talk to them, and so you can actually talk to the group and so on and so forth. So I just don't have the need to do that very much. So I logged in and set it all up, and it was sort of cool to be able to sort of participate in some of the stuff, but I don't really have a lot of time to do that. And I just haven't found the need to do that. So that's my only experience with it, was just the one issue.
Yeah, that's my problem. I just don't have the time to learn something that I may not use or I'm not interested in using.
Yeah.
To find out what it is. I used to do that a lot, but I just it gets to the point where there's only so much you can kind of get into the brain.
Right.
And when I bring in something that I don't need, it's already full up there. So when I bring something new and something falls out, and I don't need to forget something that I really want to know. So.
Right. Yeah. That's the only experience. Do we have any comments, any questions yet, or anything more posted?
Back to StreamYard and see what we got. Mike's got a couple of things.
We set up Discord as a BBS simulator for our computer users group. Works just like the old BBSs, but we really didn't draw members who wanted to use it. Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like the old bulletin boards, I spent a lot of time there in my old days, but yeah. Just give me a good old Zoom meeting and I'd rather be, can solve this issue.
Yeah, I was Mike and I, and I'm sure a lot of people who listen to us were old BBSers. I ran a really big BBS. I was one of the first to put CDs online with the shareware on them, and at one time I had 8 different CD players hooked to my bulletin board, so people could get all kinds of files. We put up a satellite dish, and we were downloading FIDO feeds of shareware, and it was a lot of fun back in the late 80s.
Yeah. Google. Oh, so this was interesting. So the article here was from The Verge. Google switch to Android iPhones app now works with any Android 12 phone. So I guess my question is, most people are happy with their Apple phones. This is about the app that copies all your data from Apple to Android. It makes it very easy to switch from Apple to Android. I guess I'm not sure how many people switch from Apple to Android anyway. I thought it was interesting.
That's because Apple had an app that allowed you to switch from Android to an iOS device.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So if you are considering switching, it is pretty easy now. You can move back and forth. Huey, what's this with your eyeballs here?
It's a contact lens that a company has developed that they actually put the batteries in the contact lens, and you can have it as an AR, artificial. What's AR stand for? I can't even remember now.
Artificial reality. AI.
Yeah, it's like AI, but it's where you can watch things.
Oh, artificial reality.
Yeah, artificial reality. But it's and the company that's creating it, their CEO is testing it himself. But there's actually batteries built into this thing you put in your eye.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Interesting article. Amazing. Some of the new technology that's coming and that is really out there, but still in the testing stage.
that may have quite significant implications for people with corneal problems or eye problems. So there may be some really interesting things happening with this.
Yeah.
Maybe replaces glasses. All right, Huey, next one you got.
Yeah, we were talking about this before the show. Where a bunch of routers are under attack by a new, unusually sophisticated malware. This is really an old item.
Yep. It's a rebranded old item.
So
I guess.
Go ahead, Bob.
Well, it's drawing lots of attention, but actually this goes back years and years. And pretty much what it points out is, just like your computer, every once in a while, reboot your modem and your router.
Yep.
It also points out to the issue of be careful what you watch on news feeds, because these, it happens all the time. And that's one of the things that why Bob and Huey and I, review all these articles before we put them up on our Facebook page, is that it's, some of the articles just aren't worth it. And,
it's called rebranding.
Right. They have, Microsoft's doom and gloom. Microsoft, there'll be some big explosive title on a real old insignificant problem. And what they really want you to do is to click the article and read it. Right. Or it'll be full of advertising, and that will bring up all sorts of stuff. So anyway, be careful with that.
Yeah. A couple of things about that. This past week, one of my Facebook friends posted the same old article about what's a Texas Roadhouse is giving away free dinners. All you have to do is say, I saw this article on Facebook, and you're going to get 2 free dinners. And they keep posting it. I keep posting things from news articles saying that it's a scam, that it doesn't. It's not true. And people they see something and they automatically just copy and paste it and put it on Facebook, and don't look at, gee, can this be true, or can this be maybe not true? And maybe I ought to look to see just do a quick search and see if there's anything written about it. No,
that's why the Nigerian scam is still active and working. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. Can you imagine going and ordering 2 dinners and go to pay for it and give them the little article and show them this, and then they say, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Let's have a look here. I think this is yours, Huey. Next one.
Yeah, just a reminder for those who have Chromebooks. Mine was updated to version 103 of the operating system for Google Chromebooks. Or any Chromebook. It doesn't have to be Google. It could be Acer, or mine's a Dell. Just check and see if you've got a new Chromebook operating system version. And then also Chromebooks get 7 new Chromebook OS 103 features. And I'm sure Ron is going to be talking about those at the next Learning Chromebooks show.
Yes, I do the Chrome OS, the new, because with Chromebooks now we have a new version of the operating system each month. So I go over and look at, that's part of what I do, is I go over and look at what the new features are. And I got mine, Huey, this week, yesterday as well. So that's good.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the new features to see what they are yet, but I did. So I grabbed this article, and I'm going to take a look at the article and kind of figure out if there's anything there that I'm going to be
there's some interesting
using.
Stuff. So yeah. All right. The next article is very, very interesting, and I wanted to get everybody's thoughts on this. Is as you know, the Bitcoin has had digital currency has had a rocky road this last week, and it is a big problem. So the article was New Turmoil Rocks Crypto as Court Orders Hedge Fund to Liquidate. And this was just came out this morning, and 3 Arrows Capital was a hedge fund. Of course, people had invested billions of dollars in this, and it was in digital currency, mostly Bitcoin. And of course, Bitcoin's lost 70% of its value, and they now have to liquidate. And this is people's investments. So it's where are we with this? This is sort of interesting. I mean, what do you guys think?
Well, I don't have the money to invest in cryptocurrency anyway, so I don't really follow it that much. It's just
Right.
my feeling is that if you've got a lot of extra money and you want to try it, go ahead and do it. But bear in mind, it's like anything you invest in, you're liable to lose a lot of money.
This reminds me of silver many years ago.
That's right.
I used to, when somebody brought in a silver certificates in the bank, I used to buy those things and run down the block and trade them in. And for every silver certificate, I wound up at one point getting $47. Okay. That's what this reminds me of. And then, of course, that was the end of that. Silver went back to its norm. And if you didn't take advantage of it at the time it was high and get rid of it before it dropped, you took the loss.
You did. Yeah. Interesting.
Like the rest of you, I don't have anything in cryptocurrency. I don't have anything in the stock market either. So
yeah, me either. You got to.
I don't have anything in the bank either, but that's beside the point.
You got to have money to do those things.
Well, not necessarily now. It's just hold on, you guys. Chris Gould of Geeks on Tour did a show about that. Remember, she actually bought. You can actually buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, right? You can buy. You can buy it, and there are you can go to. They have ATMs like that. You can go there and put your money in, and it gives you a little card, and you've got your $100 worth of Bitcoin, and you can actually trade that. Get $50 change, and there are actually. The whole thing was being used as currency, but of course the Bitcoin itself had a investment potential because of course it was going up, and so she did a whole show on it, how to do this and how. So anyway, I wonder how her $100 went.
Her $100 is now worth $47.
Yeah, we'll have to ask her how she's doing with that. All right, Bob, this is yours, I guess. Fingerprint reader to any window. This is cool.
Yep, it's a USB device, and it will take your fingerprint at any angle. So if you really don't want to use numbers or password, and you figure that the fingerprint reader is something you want, but your laptop doesn't have one, this is one way to add it.
Does that integrate into the Windows software so that you won't get asked the other factors? Does this
That's correct. You set it up. You set it up in your ID to use the fingerprint.
So how much is it? Was it very expensive?
I think $40.
$40. That's
$39.95, I believe, is what it was. The link to this takes you to Amazon.
Okay. And have you had any experience with these? Have you?
No. I don't use fingerprint reader. I found them to not be as reliable as I wanted. I know technology has improved, and hopefully this has had the newer technology. But
all right, well, that's cool. Yeah.
When I sign into my phone, when I turn my phone on or open up the case and push the button, it looks for my picture. It looks for my face, right. And it does a facial recognition. If it's to the side, or it's at night, or it's a little too dark, or sometimes it just doesn't recognize me, the next thing is I can put my finger on the fingerprint reader and it will open my phone up. If neither of those work, I can slide up and then put in my PIN. So I've got 3 ways which I can log into my phone, and the fingerprint is one of those, and it works pretty good. Sometimes it doesn't.
Well, so I just use on my Pixel, I just use my fingerprint. I've always used the fingerprint reader. I think Bob probably does the same with his. I guess, do we have on our Pixel 6s, Bob? Do we have facial recognition? I don't even know if we have that on our.
I don't know. I use a pin.
Oh, use a pin. I don't even know. We should probably look at that. Now this is very interesting. This article is I really want to talk about this. This came out this morning, and
I posted it too a little bit later on.
Yeah. So, did you guys read the article?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so okay. So let me just tell the viewers
read the article title first.
Yeah. Okay. So the U.S. FCC commissioner wants Apple and Google to remove TikTok from their app stores. Okay, so so this is so they want them to remove TikTok. Now, the start of this article goes back, well, maybe a couple of years ago, where it was deemed that the TikTok is of course owned by China,
Right.
and there are actually two companies, and the company in China, I can't remember what it's called, but it sort of owns TikTok. But because the boom came down 2 years ago, and TikTok was going to be required to sell all its U.S. assets and not be allowed to be in the United States, they agreed that all their data for TikTok would be on U.S. servers and physically stored in the United States. The issue is security, and all the data will be stored in the United States. And so TikTok is the name in the United States. It's stored on data servers in the United States. In China, it's called something else, and it's stored in China, but it's still owned by China, right? And so the issue came up recently was that there was actually the TikTok, the US company, was actually giving some of that personal information to China. And that's what prompted this article, right? And so the whole issue of security in China and giving data back and forth and your personal information has come up again. Now, I want to just tell you something. You know that I listen to Leo Laporte all the time on the radio, and I'm sure you guys do as well, but I listen to him. Michael is, of course, Leo has a son. I think his name's Michael. Was it Michael? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Michael. And Michael, I think he's in his 20s, and he had a hard time figuring out what he wanted to do. He didn't know much about cooking, but always liked cooking, and he started a cooking channel on TikTok. And he now has a 6-figure income, and he makes more than his dad does after 50 years on broadcasting, right? And he's being extremely successful. Now he works at it hard, and he is a businessman, and he does it. But it just lets you know the TikTok platform is huge. Like, it really is big, right? Now, I don't do TikTok. I don't think Huey and Bob do TikTok either.
Nope.
So we're talking sort of in a social media, but it's another world out there, so to speak, right? It is another world, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So this is
nice. It's nice to have the data on U.S. servers, but you should not sync them with the servers in China.
Yeah. So this is going to be a big issue coming up. This is not going to go away, and this is, it's going to be this is a big one. But it really does affect a lot of people, not us, because we're not on that platform, right? But it is a big platform in the United States. It's huge, and people are making.
I know all my kids and grandkids, and probably some of the great grandkids do use TikTok.
Yeah.
Even though grandpa and great grandpa says don't do it,
right?
They still do it because their friends are all on it.
Yeah, there's actually a thing now they're warning people about that. It's become one of those things on TikTok that challenges, and is how deep can you dig at the beach? And it's becoming a big issue because they're digging so far down that turtles are having issues with it, and people are falling in or tripping on these holes, and they can't fill them back up easily, and they're just digging very huge deep holes in the sand.
Yeah. Just before it's an hour's gone by.
And there's one article of a few down. It's about Chrome Unboxed that I would like to cover before we go.
Okay. Well, I'm getting that back up for you. Is there anything we got to talk? Can you look and see if we got anything?
I'll go over there. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
Ivana from Argyle, Texas, right? Ivana, I think his name is Hank Salt Hank.
Let's see. Wait a minute here.
Joel says Amazon has at least 4 different brands of USB fingerprint readers, all about $50. Yeah.
Yep.
I think his name is Hank. So I don't know. What are we referring to there? Do you know?
I don't know.
The probably
Oh,
Leo Laporte's son.
Oh,
Leo's son.
So Van is listening to him. See? There you go. There you go. Okay, what are we looking for, Huey?
The one on, keep going. That one right there.
Okay. Here, do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, let me go back to it. Need a cheap laptop. If you're considering getting a Chromebook and you aren't sure, or you want to have an extra Chromebook around, right now Best Buy has this one for need a cheap laptop. It's a Chrome Unbox found it. It's like $99,
Mhm.
and it's a regular Chromebook. It's one. So if you want to play with a Chromebook, but don't want to spend a lot of money to see whether it's something you're interested in, this would be a good starter. You try it. If you seem, oh yeah, I would like to get into the Chromebook world, then buy a better one that'll do more things, and it'll be in the $300-400. I think $400 to $500 is a really sweet spot for a good Chromebook with a lot of the extras on it. But for $100 to try one, I think this is a pretty good deal.
Now, if you're writing feverishly trying to keep notes on all this, you don't have to worry about it because, of course, we recorded the show and it's available for playback right now because it'll be on YouTube. Or you can go to our Facebook page and all the articles are right there. And that's the link to our Facebook page. So, and we should actually, I've posted that also over on our Learning Chromebook page as well. So it is a Chromebook article as well. So thanks, Huey, for doing that. That's great. Good information, because Chromebooks are a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah, for $100.
Yeah. There you go.
Just an extra, just to have something for your grandkids and to play with, to learn about Chromebooks. Mm-hmm. And that way you can be a part of Learning Chromebooks, our show every month, and not have to spend a lot of money.
So you know that the fitness tracker for kids, you remember the video, that great video I made last Monday? Remember that you all watched?
All your videos are great.
On the show. So I'm in Costco yesterday. I'll be darned if they don't have it as a discount sale and it's on for $50. It was on for half price. It was on for $50. And I thought, and I just made a video about it. I thought I should make little stickers and put them on the sign and say, just watch the video. Anyway, listen, we got to go. It's We're already 2 minutes over. You guys will talk forever here. Anyway, thanks you guys for coming this week. Thanks everyone for listening. We are here for you, and we
love having you here. And please tell your friends.
Yeah, and I hope you had as much fun as we did. I mean, we really do have a lot of fun doing this, so I hope you had as much fun as well. Anyway, we'll see you next week, and don't forget this is podcasted. Anyway, have a great week. Have a good long weekend, by the way, and don't forget. The Monday show will be broadcasting on Monday, even though it's a long weekend. All right. Okay. Bye now.